Hey guys, so I'm going to tell you about my vitamin D deficiency. We're going to have a little story time. And don't worry, I'm going to make more videos to really go into detail about some things about vitamin D deficiency and B12 because things that I didn't get from YouTube, I want to make sure that I give you to help. So let's start when it first happened. So April 2025 is the first time that I had symptoms, but I didn't know what it was, of course. So I was in the car with my husband and my vision just started getting blurry. So I'm thinking like, is my blood pressure high or do I need glasses? That's what I'm thinking because I don't know, just I'm a healthy person. And out of nowhere my vision just started getting blurry. It was like halos around all the lights from in my glasses. So I'm like taking my glasses off, doing this, trying to clear focus and clear my vision, and it would just happen time to time. It wasn't just constant. It would get blurry and then straighten back up. So whatever. So that was in April of 2025. A few months later, in like May, June, I started having these headaches, these really weird, like stabbing headaches over my left eye. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And that's scary. So anything stabbing in your head is scary. So I'm thinking like, what was that? But again, it wasn't constant. It would just come and go. So I'm like, it was crazy. And I'm thinking since I was 41 at the time. So I'm like, maybe it's because of my age. Maybe I'm starting to get menopause symptoms. So I'm like, okay, so I have to start looking into that. That's what I was thinking it was. All right, so then months later in December 2025, so I kept getting the headaches, so they still would come and go. And then in addition to that, sometimes I would have like lower back pain or the vision would still get blurry sometimes, but nothing else. So I wasn't fatigued. I wasn't like super tired. I was starting to have light brain fog, but I didn't know what it was because like me and my sister would be on the phone and we'll be talking and I'll be trying to think of a certain word and then it just would not come to mind. And she couldn't think of it either. So she like, I know what you're trying to say, but you know, couldn't think of the word. So like stuff would just disappear. Anyway, fast forward to December 2025. I went to the ER because I kept having these headaches. There's no explanation for it. And like, I need to know if this is something serious, medically serious, or if it's hormones. So I go to the ER, they do a CAT scan. They do, I think they did x-rays. Anyway, nothing. Your brain looks good. You may be having like a sinus headache. So they gave me some antibiotics to treat a sinus infection. So they gave me antibiotics for that. Whatever. Took the antibiotics. Didn't help. Still having the headaches. Still coming and going. So January of 2026, I'm still having the headaches. Vision is still like wonky. It's blurry or halos or just weird stuff that I completely can't explain. And then I think I started having really slight muscle pain. So like in my calf, I would get like a little ache or something like that. And I'm really thinking this is perimenopause symptoms. So in April of 2026, I said, you know what? I'm getting my blood levels checked because in February, I went to a hormone doctor that accepts my insurance. And when I went to her, she was like, oh, I never check my patient's hormones. So I'm thinking like, how the hell are you a hormone doctor if you don't check hormones? What is your purpose? Anyway, so I was like, forget that. I went and got my own blood work done. Paid $250. Went to like this place that was like a hormone wellness place. Because I think that's what I'm looking into. Fast forward to June of 2025. Now I'm having like more symptoms. So the headaches, the vision is blurry. I'm getting some ringing in my ears. I'm getting this terrible, terrible shoulder pain. Like the worst shoulder pain I've ever had. Like I'm constantly putting heating pads on and I'm getting pain patches, just all type of stuff. And I'm thinking it's from my bra strap. So I'm stopping wearing bras with straps on it because I'm like, okay, my shoulders need relief from my bra strap. So I'm just thinking it's everything but this. That's in June of 2026. Fast forward to July 2026. So I was supposed to go to the place where I got my blood drawn. I still don't know what my blood work is because I haven't, me and my husband have been traveling a lot. I didn't go back to the doctor yet. July 2nd of 2026, I finally called the place and say, hey, do I have access to my blood work? So I look at my own blood work, looking at all the blood work, bam. Vitamin D, severely deficient. My level was a 10 and it's supposed to be at a 30. And from my research, it's supposed to be way higher than 30, but we'll talk about that later. So it was a 10, right? So, and then my B12 was 235, but this was in April. We're now in July. So they both have dropped since then. So my vitamin D was probably down to like a 5, and my B12 probably was down to like a 200 or lower. Who knows? But I'm starting to feel all these crazy symptoms. Like one time I woke up in the middle of the night. This was before I knew I had the deficiency. With like, it felt like a Charlie horse in my foot. Woke me up out of my sleep. Couldn't sleep. Felt like a Charlie horse. And it was like the worst I've ever felt. Like it woke me up and I was up for a while. And it took a while for it to go away. Anyway, so finally, July 2nd, 2026, I get my own blood work. I have a vitamin D deficiency, a level 10. It was in red. So all the things on the paper was in black. Vitamin D was in red because it was severely deficient. So I'm like, I'm not stupid. So I just go get some vitamin D, do some research on vitamin D deficiencies, the symptoms. And I go get some vitamin D 3 and I start taking it. And oh my God, once I started taking it, it got worse. So like a few days after I started taking it, so I'm thinking like I'm severely deficient. So I took like 50,000 IUs the first day. I think it was a Monday. So it was on 4th of July, my arm was weak, of July of 2026. My left arm was weak. I went to the emergency room because I couldn't even lift my left arm. So I'm like, am I having a heart attack? This was before I started taking the vitamin D, I think. Yes, so they did another CAT scan. Your brain is good, you're fine. They did an x-ray of my heart to make sure I wasn't having a heart attack. Referred me to a cardiologist. I hadn't been to cardiologist, did stress tests, heart monitors for weeks, all type of stuff because I thought I was having a heart attack. But these are all vitamin D deficiency symptoms. Okay, so on 4th of July, my arm was weak. And I went to the ER. They let me go. They gave me some steroids for like an anti-inflammatory thing because they said maybe something in my neck was pinching a nerve. Just coming to all type of other conclusions. Meanwhile, I mentioned to the emergency room doctor that I have a vitamin D deficiency and it's really low. And they're like, oh, vitamin D is not even an emergency situation. We don't even check vitamin D blood levels, but it's fine. It's fine. You're supplementing. Okay, well, yeah, you're fine. Meanwhile, I feel like I'm dying because I'm not fine. And I know for a fact that I have a vitamin D deficiency. And at this time, I had a B12 deficiency too, but didn't know it. So anyway, I start taking the vitamins on July 6th, it was, I think. Okay. And I took like 50,000 IUs. I'm like, okay, I'm severely deficient. I need to get this in my system. So I think I took way too much and it made me have diarrhea. It made me lose weight. And it made me have a whole lot of other symptoms that come with taking vitamin D3. But whatever. So after I started taking it, I started getting even more symptoms, like neurological symptoms, like tingling all over my body, tingling, numb feeling, like completely weak muscles. Muscles are weak, bones are hurting, like just fatigue. This is when the fatigue started. I was, no, let me stop. The fatigue did start in June. It was just really light. The brain fog and fatigue, because like I would come in my studio and I wouldn't even be able to work. Like, so I would just come in here and just walk around aimlessly, working on nothing because I couldn't focus. I couldn't concentrate on anything. So I would just end up laying down on my couch that I have for guests to sit on when they come to the studio. I would just end up laying down there, just doing nothing because I just couldn't focus. And I was getting, this is when I started getting fatigued. Anyway, so I started taking it June 6th, and I'm taking it every day. I started taking 10,000 IUs every day after the first loading dose. So I went to the hospital again like July 8th, I think, because now something else was hurting. And I'm like, what the fuck is up? And my anxiety was really high. That's one of the first things too. I was having anxiety a lot in the beginning of the year, January, February, March, April. Anyway, so I'm still having anxiety and panic attacks, like crazy stuff, like in the car while I'm driving, like I have to hurry up and pull over because I don't, this complete feeling just of panic and dread just came over me and I couldn't do anything. And so I'm having an anxiety attack. I went to the emergency room again, told them that I have a vitamin D deficiency. They wave it off. Oh no, it's fine. Nothing, it's fine. But I had the diarrhea and I started losing weight. So I thought maybe I had like a virus, or I thought I had that cyclospora thing that was going around. So I had to make them test my stool because they're just like, oh, they just ask you questions, and if it's not drastic or dramatized, you're completely fine. Nothing is wrong with you. So I left that night. They're just like, I have anxiety. That's what they told me. So I go back and I'm still every day feeling terrible, weak, bones hurt, fatigued, can't think, brain fog, anxiety through the roof, just Googling all type of crazy stuff. Because if you Google the symptoms of vitamin D deficiency, they're the same symptoms as everything that's terrible. And if you Google the symptoms of a B12 deficiency, they're the same thing as everything terrible. I'm literally thinking I'm getting ready to die. Because your body is just breaking down. And I know why now, because you have vitamin D receptors in every part of your body. Every single vitamin D. The sun is a healer. And it makes sense when you think about it. We're humans, we're put on this earth, and the sun is put there to heal us naturally. So that's why we need D3. And it gets deeper. Anyway, I lost my appetite. I forgot that I lost at least 5 to 10 pounds. I was thick. Now I feel very thin. What else? I went to a doctor, the one that I went to get my blood drawn. I finally went to him, paid $500 for a visit with him, for him to make me feel even worse. He told me I had Hashimoto's syndrome. He's not an endocrinologist. He's not even like that type of doctor. He told me I had an autoimmune issue. He told me I was in perimenopause. He was like, you need this. He really made everything worse. Told me I had to pay him $3,200 to get all these different treatments and medicines and thyroid, steroid, or hormone, all type of stuff. I didn't do any of that because he just rubbed me the wrong way. So I'm like, whatever. So after a week of supplementing, I feel worse. After 2 weeks of supplementing, I feel worse. I finally started getting a little relief after 3 weeks of supplementing. I started to feel like myself again because um, when it hit me hard, the deficiency, my personality was drained. I had no energy. Like my husband would he would say something funny and I would just sit there. Nothing was funny. Like it was terrible. Everything hurt. My Everything hurt. My whole body hurt. My butt hurt. My legs hurt. Everything hurt. I went to the ER for that too, for my butt hurting. And the man actually, he said that um, there wasn't any fissures or hemorrhoids. And then this is so reckless. He was like, that sounds like MS. The doctor. Why the fuck would you say something like that if, why would I curse? Why would you say something like that to a patient who's in the emergency room without any proof of something like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's terrifying. I'm already anxious, like, through the roof. So anyway, I finally started getting a little relief after 3 weeks. The next week, week 4, that was a month of supplementing. It was still bad, but it starts to get better after a while. After months of supplementing, I'm right now at week 6 of supplementing, and I'm finally starting to feel like myself again. At week 5, I was able to get back in the gym, not go hard, but I was able to go and do a little something. My personality was back. I could laugh, I could talk, I could have a conversation, I could focus again. I started back working again after week 5. So for like the first month and a half to 2 months, you're not going to be able to do anything. You're not going to be able to work. People can't just call you and talk. You're not going to want to talk. So that's my story. And doctors are absolutely clueless. So don't think that you're going to go to a doctor and they're going to help solve your problem. You literally have to advocate for yourself. You have to tell them, please check all of my vitamins and nutrients and hormones. Because they won't. They check like 3 or 4 things. They check your white and red blood cells, I think, hemoglobin, very few things. And vitamin D and vitamin B12 are so important to your overall health. And they never check those. That should be like mandatory to check when you go to the emergency room. And that should be mandatory to check every year for a person's yearly doctor well appointment, I think, if you want them to stay well, because it's crucial. So anyway, that's my story. I finally found out what the issue was, and now I am fixing it. So you can go along this journey with me to fixing it. And if you have any questions, please put them below in the comments, and I will definitely try to get back with you as soon as possible. I know how scary it is, and I know sometimes you need to talk to somebody who's been through it to get some relief. So I'm going to figure out how I can fit that in, because I'm very busy, but I'm going to figure out how I can fit that in so that you can speak to somebody who's been through it and know all the different stages, symptoms, and just any other information you need as much as I know. I'm not a doctor. Always go to the doctor and get everything checked, rule things out. But vitamin D and vitamin B12 deficiencies are very, very scary.